Hello and welcome everyone to this amazing yet another session of Roaring Ladies of E-commerce. I am Sonakshi, today your host in organizing this Clash of PDP Season 1. Today we have super amazing folks, Tara and Shannon with us. Quickly introducing them. Tara, she's growth and customer focused e-commerce director with 10 plus years of experience scaling DTC brand, digital strategies, and roadmaps. Currently leading e-commerce at First Day, previously made in Outdoor Voices and Tory Burch. Warm welcome, Tara, to our community, and really grateful for having you invest your time, invest your insights into helping this community out. Most welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to get into this. I think it's going to be fun.
Amazing, Tara. And the next today's judge we have is Shannon. She brings over 15 years of experience in e-commerce, helping transform traditional businesses into modern competitive ones. She's led major digital transformations, driving growth and building strong capabilities along the way. And she's also ex-GM VP Commerce at Fender. Most welcome, Shannon, to our community today.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Amazing. So, guys, I was super pumped and awaiting for this day for last 2 to 3 weeks, honestly speaking. And why we have organized this, why we have started this series, we'll cover everything. But first of all, every one of you who have joined us today, I'm really grateful because as a woman, just before starting the session, I was speaking with Shannon and Tara about, as a woman entrepreneur, we go through as a woman in business, we go through lots of ups and downs. There are instances where we feel if there was some help from the community or some help from a person who have been there, in same similar situation, how they would have handled it. That is the purpose of building this community, and super grateful that all of you in some way or other are contributing to this mission. So warm welcome. And stay tuned. This is Clash of PDP Season 1. We are going to take off 4 PDPs today, which were submitted during the registration. And don't worry if your PDP hasn't been on those 4, don't worry about it. You can always put any of your PDP. We'll actually create a dedicated session in the RLOE Slack group where you can put your PDP, get insights from our community, and so on and so forth. So today we have chosen 4 PDPs, which our judges will evaluate, audit, share their feedbacks, and it is all for fun. And towards the end, whichever PDP seems to be the best in terms of how they have positioned products, how they have descripted the offering that they wanted to do, how they have well educated customer in terms of experience they go through once they come to a PDP. So all of that, we'll have certain scores, and towards the end, whoever has the highest score gets certain goodies from us, a certification from the RLOE community, and some round of applause from all of us together. So let's begin. Before we begin, quickly, this session is sponsored by Manifest AI, and we have a very wonderful and darling lady she's the founder of Mid-90s, who's our gifting partner, who was generous enough to give those coupons for the winner tonight. So thank you so much for joining in. We'll begin now. Let's start. I'll share my screen. Judges, we have our Excel ready, our dashboard ready. Okay, great. So let me share my screen. Amazing. So now we'll start. So few things before we start. One is this would be the judging criteria. So 10 points would be on the product story and value communication. 10 points would be on customer experience and usability. Doubt eliminator is how we like to call it. Then another next set of 10 points would be on trust and risk reversal. Next 10 would be on decision support and personalization, like how much amount of smart recommendation or how much amount, let's say, some timers basis their journey on the website has been used. And last but not the least is revenue maximization, how well we have put up those deals, discounts, or ways we have, put up labels to increase LTV or even AOV, we'll evaluate on that. So let's get started. So the first thing that we have with us is just a second, guys. Yeah. So we'll start with bed threats. One second. Just a second, guys. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, hope my screen's visible to all of you. Just keep it small.
We can see it.
Amazing. So this is the PDP submitted. First, I think we'll start with Shannon. What are your thoughts on this PDP in general?
All right. Can we scroll it top to bottom kind of slowly just so I can get
Yeah,
a sense
sure,
of everything going on here?
sure. So this is the top. I'll keep scrolling down slowly. I think now we're at the review section. After this, let's the footer. So yeah.
Okay. All right, if we can go back up to the top. So this looks awesome. I mean, I think there's a lot of really good things that are going on with this PDP. It's very well organized. Um, what I specifically like about it is if you scroll down a little bit, I love the fact that you've got the customize your set. It kind of gives you the ability, most likely people that are buying sheets, they're looking for kind of an overall solution. So I really, really love that. And then I also really like the fact if you scroll down a little bit, the some of the photos. So it looks like we've got some user generated photos, which I think is really great, obviously in terms of credibility building. So it's one thing, obviously, that the brand is providing their own imagery of the sheets, but it looks like, I don't know if this is user generated or not, actually, I can't really tell, but in any event,
Yeah.
there's a lot of in situ photography and video, actually. The movement of this is really nice. So I think that's nice. I'd also say the organization of the information, sorry, if you can go back up, is pretty nice. I like how you've got the expandable drop downs for details, care, etc. As I see here, there's a ton of information, but I think organizing it in a way that reduces cognitive load is really, really important. So I think this is a nice way to do that. The one thing I'm unsure about, and there is kind of a lot of information here. The one thing I'm a little bit unsure of is return policy. And I don't know if I see that kind of front and center. Of course, we don't want our consumers, our shoppers to return products, but okay, good. It looks like
Yeah.
it looks like it is in there. But I think just something to keep in mind, consumer shoppers are always going to look for return policies. They're always going to want to know, if I don't like this item, how can I easily and effectively get it back to the brand? So that's just one thing that I would consider, making sure that that's front and center.
Makes a lot of sense. Any other scope of improvements that you feel could be done on this PDP, Shannon?
I've got the thumbnail images, so I think that's nice.
What are your thoughts on, making this care section and upsell section in general? Like I haven't seen this in any other
Yeah.
website yet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think you've got to be careful with upsells, right? Because you want to make sure that, most importantly, you're selling the person on the product page that they're currently on. I think
Yeah.
upsells are always good, but if they're a little bit more deprioritized, so typically what you'll see is cross sells are more so in a rail, a little bit further below the
Right.
fold. And the reason for that obviously is, the consumer has had the opportunity to read all the
Right.
information about the particular product first, and then they kind of see that information as a next opportunity. So it
Right.
looks like you've got a rail here. Is this a rail that's a cross sell? Yeah, discover
Yeah.
more. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know
Which
what, the other thing to consider is, personalization. If you're, you might want to provide different sheet options, or you might want to do a cross sell, which is what, you just showed kind of further above the fold. But typically, from a heuristics perspective, shoppers are used to seeing that information more in a rail a little bit further below the fold.
got it. Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense, Shannon. This sounds great. And what are your thoughts, like final thing from your side, what are your thoughts on this rating and review section? How do you feel about it? It's like massively reviewed product. So do you think this section could be used in a better way if, we could have, let's say, put up some things about rating? Oh, they have it here. So, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Makes sense.
I did. I mean, that's great. 4.9, healthy number of reviews. I think it's in a natural location above the fold here. One thing you could consider though, if this is a lead SKU for the brand, you could consider wrapping up that social proof into advertising and using it on
Yeah.
paid media, using it, further up the funnel on the homepage. There's a lot to be said about social proof. You can even take, small excerpts of specific reviews and leverage it in advertising. I've seen that hugely successful, particularly when I've worked on Procter and Gamble brands.
Yeah.
Leveraging reviews in that way in paid media was some of the highest performing creative. So definitely something worth considering if you're not already doing it.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense, Shannon. Thanks for your input. Over to you, Tara. What are your thoughts on this PDP?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I agree with a lot of things that Shannon said. I jotted some notes along the way, but I think in general, very strong PDP. It strikes a really nice balance of both visual elements that you can scan and easily digest, which are so important for today's modern consumer, and also a mobile friendly experience. But
Yeah.
also really good copy too for the people that have high purchase intent that want to read more about the product, how it's made, why linen is so important when it comes to bedding choices and things along those lines. So I think the team at Bed Threads is doing a great job there. I had a couple of call outs for things that I think could only make this page stronger. We drilled a little bit into the review summary down at the bottom. But I think not only wrapping that into more of a cross-channel strategy, which Shannon alluded to, but I think also just making this more digestible. 924 reviews is a lot of reviews. There's great coverage there, but I'm struggling to pull out like the main takeaways that customers have here. And so I think maybe adding more filtering, depending on who your reviews provider is. Or even, if you guys are on Shopify, which I think you are, creating a sort of marketing component where you're pulling out the top three review highlights and sort of sharing that at the top of the component as a way for customers to just get that quick read on why people are loving this and why they're buying it. So I think beyond that, I noticed that this was a set PDP and we're cross-selling into more sets. I think, you know, another thing you could think about is perhaps how you are communicating the pricing and savings regarding buying multiple things together. I didn't see that come across completely clearly when I was looking at the buy box. Yeah, there's a couple of strike through prices in the customized section,
Yeah.
but kind of communicating the value of buying all of the things together, doing some easy A/B tests around pricing, percentage off versus dollar off, and how you communicate that, both on the main product page and then in the cross-sell sections down below. So Those are just a couple of things from me, but overall, strong PDP.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, both of you. It's time to put up score, basis whatever you guys thought. Till then, let me go to the next PDP and have it displayed for our audience. And guys, if you have any questions around PDP, etc., feel free to put it on chat. Last 5 to 10 minutes, if we have bandwidth, we'll definitely cover those aspects as well. But do keep putting that on chat. And Shannon, Tara, whenever you're done with scoring, just give a ping here. We'll start with the next PDP. Oh, there is an exit intent pop up as well. Uh, Enhancement. This is amazing. Oh, so I get a coupon code.
I'm all set. I've judged the other one.
Me
Um,
too.
Amazing. So let's start with Hatchpan. We'll this time start with Tara. It's okay. So I'll just, slowly scroll down. So this is, I think, the main section of product. Product is all natural reflux solution. Suggested use, ingredients. Then there is like a ticker. And then we have a banner section, how it works. I think it's a competitive space, so they have put up a table as well. Then reviews. There's a discount coupon here, and then FAQs, and then email. Yeah, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, immediate reaction is I love the branding. I love that the website mirrors the like physical product packaging and branding. I get the sense of this like kelp sort of underwater experience, and it feels really cohesive from a UX perspective. I'm not familiar with this brand, so I think my first reaction is wanting to learn more. I think an opportunity would be leading with sort of a short description for that traffic that's coming in organically that may not be familiar with the brand, right? Sort of above the add to cart button is sort of a way in, and that will kind of cascade into the rest of the really strong content down below. Um, oh, oh,
Sorry.
cool. I just got a little pop-up on my screen that the meeting was extended. Yeah, I think I love the really strong images in the gallery, sort of blending both traditional studio with graphic design resources that lean into icons, again, like very digestible, very scannable, so you can learn more.
Yeah.
Um, I just actually started with a brand in the supplement space, and I think
Oh,
one thing that's really important for us is the communication of the ingredients and then linking those to tangible benefits that a consumer would have with um, taking the vitamin or the supplement or whatever it is. So um, I think opportunity for maybe some more storytelling there. But yeah, overall, the only other thing I would add is breaking out the one-time purchase versus the subscription. I think there might be an opportunity there to do some really interesting pricing communication and testing around the opportunity to just buy one time versus maybe discounting a subscription offer. I think payback over time will be better, lifetime value will be better. Looks like you're doing some of that now as we click through, but even breaking those two things out and creating more visual interest into that 3 month subscription, which I could imagine is probably what you want people to opt for on this page. So, yeah, just a couple thoughts for me, but overall, Um, looks great.
Amazing. Oh, one thing, Tara, over here, there is this line called 30-day money back guarantee.
Mm,
So, do you think, like, as a consumer, as someone who's coming here for the first time, they would like to understand what does it mean on a capsule because it's an edible product. So, what
yeah.
does, yeah.
Absolutely. I think maybe, a really easy tool tip could be added there where if you click on it, hover on it, tap on it on mobile, you get a little pop-up that
Yeah.
gives you a little more context for what you mean by that. But I think that's a great value prop and definitely something to lean into that can help drive conversion, which clearly you're doing by placing it right by that add to cart.
Yeah. This is amazing. Thanks, Tara, for sharing. Shannon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the points that Tara made. I mean, I think the brand seems really interesting. I too don't know a lot about the brand, so my immediate reaction would be to get more information. I would also be actively looking for social proof, both in the form of reviews from consumers, but also like, how is this endorsed by doctors or people that are kind of, figures that are well known. I think the supplement space is very crowded. It's become very crowded. It's also one of those things where great brands get a lot of good press, but then there's some brands that can get some negative press based on, situations that consumers have had. So I think that's really, really important. Again, the social proof aspect of it, both from a consumer standpoint, but also from a kind of doctor backed or whatever prestige kind of, people that can endorse the product. So that's one thing that just helps to build trust. I also like, of course, the subscription, piece of it, I'm sure is really key to the business model. Before you had clicked around on this, I was also sort of wondering, well, what's the benefit to me, subscribing to 1 month, or 3 months? Like, what is the monetary benefit?
Mm,
I see the best value, but I did want to understand just from a percent perspective.
right.
And then I would also say, subscription, is great because it's one of those things for consumers that it's like, set it and forget it. But often I always wonder, especially when I, subscribe to vitamins or supplements, how easy is it for me to cancel or change? I think subscription models sometimes are a little bit more difficult than they need to be in terms of pausing. So I think just making sure that's, front and center as well. And maybe subscription details, if you click on that right above the add to cart, maybe it
Yeah.
details that. I'm not really sure. Okay, there we go. But a tooltip, to Tara's point earlier, is kind of a common pattern that people are familiar with seeing and saying, okay, I know I'm going to get more information from a little tooltip. I don't think I would have known to hover over that.
Yeah.
And I'm also curious what the mobile experience is for something like this.
Right. Absolutely. It was not intuitive enough to know if it's
Yeah.
a clickable thing or not. Makes sense. And you think like brand which has competition in market, which is an emerging brand, people not don't know yet about the product. So having something like this, like a live chat or an AI chatbot, do you think this adds value or is it a distraction on the PDP?
I think it adds value. It's passive enough in the fact that it's, I have to actively engage with it in order to use it. It's not, it doesn't detract for me specifically. The one thing sort of separate from this, and assuming this gives you some good outputs here, um, is separate from the chat box. I think the one thing that I would be careful of, and I advise the team on is, the pop-up, the 10%, I think it was a 10% email
Yeah, right.
capture or something that popped up pretty much right when you got on the
Right.
landing page.
Right.
I would be very hesitant on that. I know that that's a common thing that a lot of, shoppers are used to, but frankly, most of them do not like it.
Right.
So, consider timing that so that it's, a little bit, maybe 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or something that's a little bit less in your face, as the pop-up, or potentially time it so that it's an exit intent. banner. It's something that pops up when you notice a signal that somebody's going to the exit sign. So I
Yeah.
actually found, to answer your question, I found that a little bit more distracting, not the chat button.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. Thanks so much, guys. Over to the scoreboard. You guys can go ahead and put in your scores. Till then, I'll go move on to the next PDP. And again, community girlies, just feel free to put up any questions you have on chat box. I know all four of you who have submitted this PDPs are here. So put up your questions. We'll cover them in the end. Now moving on to next. It's Flower Girl. I love the name. Yeah. We'll begin once you guys are done, Tara and Shannon.
I'm all set on my side.
Amazing.
Me too.
Amazing. So let's begin. I'll just do a slow scroll. So it's the product section with price, reviews. There's size, but there's no size chart. Then complete the look, description, and I think the fit. Then there is this scroll which takes us to a bunch of images. Then this banner which I don't think is clickable. Then customer reviews. And we have reviews over here. That's it. So yeah, we'll start with Shannon this time.
Okay. So I think, I see there's some strong product imagery. That's great. I'm yearning for more information though, above the fold here. And I see that there's, to the point that you're clicking around here, I see that there's this horizontal tabbing system.
Yeah.
I just know from experience, and this is Baymert Institute is a great resource for UX. They've done hundreds and thousands of testing against different websites and specific UX. And I know one of the things that they strongly advise against, because they've not seen it perform well, is this tabbing type system, because what happens is people overlook it. And I think a great example is just I didn't even see it that it was there. So I would consider organizing this information differently. Instead of using this tabbing system, I would use more of a vertical kind of expandable drop down of sorts. We saw some in some of the earlier brands. So I think that would be one of my largest watch outs. But I think you've got, again, some really strong photography. I do think this made without PFAS and BPA. I don't know if that is the best placement for that. I would almost expect that information to be, covered in details or descriptions, or the detailed product points. To me, that's feels a little bit out of place. So I would certainly consider reorganizing that. Do you mind just clicking on description really quick one more time?
Yeah.
Down there in the tab, I just want to see. Okay, so you've got a short description, you've got some of the why buys, but again, I think this area can probably be beefed up a little bit more too.
Yeah.
So those are my main call outs. Great that you have customer reviews. I think that's excellent. And you've looks like maybe you can beef up a little bit of the customer reviews too, but I think it's off to a good start. So I think there's a lot of good things that are working, just maybe a few improvements in terms of the organization of information and how it's displayed from a UX perspective.
Agree. Definitely. I think it's a good beginning or a starting point for the PDP to set up for success. Great. Over to you, Tara.
Yeah, agree with a lot of what Shannon said. I think the first thing that struck me was the quality of the imagery, and how you can really see the design details of the ribbing on the fabric, the seam lines. Just the clarity is lovely. So great job with the creative direction there. I think the biggest thing as well is just around storytelling on why maybe opt for leak-proof underwear versus a traditional feminine products. I think perhaps an opportunity for a little bit of education, maybe a comparison chart around cost savings over time of opting for this versus traditional feminine hygiene products, like I mentioned. So maybe something there around how you're communicating the value and the why to buy. Other than that, I think Sonakshi, you said it at the beginning, but I noticed that there is not a size guide by the size selector, which I think is it's underfit for sure, but I would add that there as another entry point, maybe with a modal attached to it, just a very traditional pattern, obviously. But coming from a ton of apparel experience, I think that is like a must-have on PDPs like this, where fit is such an important factor. And then I would maybe showcase what fit looks like across different sizes, just as a proof point for customers as they're trying to determine what size is best for them, just to help minimize returns over time. I think you could really see a nice ROI on that if that's something that's important to you. Otherwise, I think I would recommend maybe some more merchandising options and even bundling. Maybe sell a pack of 5 of these and see if you can help blend up AOV through different merchandising tactics like that, that I think would be fairly easy to set up as new product pages. You could even leverage the same imagery. So it's really just about creating those different options for the customer. But overall, I think really strong, sense of what the brand stands for, the creative execution comes through really nicely. So great job.
Yeah, amazing. I also feel, this point of it's done 300 plus washes. Most of the, innerwears that I have purchased so far in my life do not withstand these many washes. So if we can highlight something around these pointers, maybe through social proof point, which Tara and Shannon highlighted, that also would be great. Great. Guys, the scoreboard, Shannon and Tara, till then I'll open up the next. This is the last one, guys, for the day. This also looks pretty cool. 4,000 reviews. That's amazing. And also in chat, guys, feel free to put up which ones do you think has stood out till now. And this is the last one. So now you have pretty much everything that we want to show. So put up in chat, what are your thoughts? What do you think can be improved on? Or you think which one is the best one? Or something that you got to learn from the other PDP. Just put everything on chat.
I'm done scoring on my end.
I'm all
Amazing.
set too.
Amazing, guys. So I'll begin my slow scroll. So the brand's called Nadam, if I'm pronouncing correctly. It's like cashmere sweater for men's. Pricing wise, decent. Then frequently work together some teas, then description, then sort fabric. No, I think it's a picture, it's not a cover. Size details, care instruction, style it with, complete the look, our picks for you, and then reviews. Short and sweet. So yeah, we'll start with Tara this time.
Cool. I am familiar with this brand. And overall, I think, again, really strong imagery, a ton of breadth of color. That's incredible. Could you click on what's my size?
Yeah, I
I
can.
did. I was like, okay.
This is
Um,
Let me try. I don't know, man. Just
With apparel, again, as you're going through this, I think like sizing and returns is like the number one problem half the time, besides growth that you're looking to solve for. Um, so I think this is such a great tool. I sometimes get a little overwhelmed filling these out, and more so like to opt for looking at how it fits on other models, perhaps, or
right.
um, even in reviews, filtering by size selected to a similar size that I think I would opt for, and kind of reading more around the fit that way. So I think that's, the number one recommendation for how you could make something like this stronger. But I think overall, the merchandising inputs are really lovely. Not only do you have the color swatches broken out by core and limited edition, but you have frequently bought together, styled with. I think there was another section even below that. So you're giving the customer the best possible ability to purchase something that you think they would like with based on the inputs that you're receiving from them on just overall interest. So I think all of those touch points are really strong. I would maybe it's a little bit desktop specific, but look for an option that's like a quick ad, just so you're not taking someone off of the page here. Um, like mobile would be obviously different, but we're looking at desktop right now. And then I think like I know this is a cashmere brand for sure. I think there could be more storytelling around potentially country of origin, craftsmanship, like selling the cashmere dream a little bit. I think people are probably already coming to you for that, but telling more about what a lovely fabric this is, and why it's better than wool or poly blend alternatives, talking about where you're sourcing it from. I think all of that really helps differentiate in apparel markets when it comes to a fabric story. So just a couple things from me, but overall, I think great job, great UX, lots of really easy things to scan and read more.
Got it, got it. What are your thoughts, Tara, on highlighting in on the PDP, the first thing that we have put after the product name is that it has an afterpay thing, you can pay in installments. So do you think, or do you feel that depending upon how the brand funnel looks like, if they're seeing drop-off basis, this particular criteria, that's when you put it here? What are your thoughts on the placement of this?
Yeah, I think paying for payments have just kind of become table stakes. Like I would always say like test the placement of it, test the communication of it, understand what kind of customer is leveraging this payment option. I think it's nice to offer for sure, but and it makes sense to be paired by price, so I know exactly why it's placed there. But I would say like it is a long message. It's wrapping to two lines with the learn more. Like maybe there's something you can do to tighten up there, or test moving it below the add to cart, for instance, is another option. But yeah, I think that's become pretty commonplace these days.
Right. Makes sense. Thanks, Sarah. Over
Yeah.
to you, Shannon.
Yeah, I'm actually going to comment a little bit on the Klarna. I'll start with that. I actually, I think it's a great, I think Klarna, to your point, Tara, it's like table stakes, right? Especially for, brands that are a little bit of a higher price point. Historically, what I've seen in my experience is you get actually a really nice higher lifetime value customer too from Klarna, because they basket build. They're not only looking at this one particular item at 98, they're like, okay, great, this is something I can afford. You're making the price point more accessible. So just a comment, I think having Klarna obviously is really important. In my past, the team has also tested things like moving Klarna communication up on the PLPs. And that has actually performed really well too, because again, it shows accessibility to price points that may not be, the product might not otherwise be accessible to people. So just something to consider for those brands that are kind of higher price point. The particular instance where that worked really well, the product kind of was in the range of 300 to 1,000, so it was a little bit higher, but again, just something to consider. I also really like the fact that obviously this brand has a model. I know that sounds a little silly saying that because it's apparel, but you'd be surprised. Like 55% of PDPs actually do not have models, apparel companies. So it's awesome that you have that. Obviously, showcases maturity of the brand, really important. To the fit point. So we talked a little bit about measurements and fit. I agree with you, Tara. Sometimes these size guides are like overwhelming because I'm like, oh, I gotta go get a measuring tape and I gotta go measure my, like, I don't remember what I am waist wise, etc. What I typically like, and what I found is useful is those tools that say, are you a size X, small, medium, large in this brand? And there's like a list of brands, and it's kind of a way to, quickly gut check, okay, I know I'm this size in this brand. I'll most likely be that size, this relevant size in this brand. So that's just something to consider as well. And then I think in terms of the frequently bought together, similar comments on maybe moving that down the fold a little bit, until you've sold them on kind of the buy of this particular product. I'm not sure the cross sell or the frequently bought together, this is the best placement for it. It might become a little bit of a distraction or point people off of the PDP.
Yeah, yeah.
But overall, really, really nice job, strong brand. I'm also excited. I've learned 4 new brands that I've not historically shopped in the past. So this is great.
Amazing. What just, Shannon, one quick thought. So the product is original cashmere sweater, and
Mhm.
here frequently what together is lightweight cashmere short sleeve sweater. So do you also believe the recommendation engine when it comes to frequently what together also matters a lot in the journey?
I mean, I think it's important to have your algorithms, properly tuned in. There's nothing worse than, getting a recommended product that just doesn't feel relevant.
Um,
Um, but I would imagine this, I mean, if all things were working properly, I'd imagine that this was powered by true sales data. So,
right.
um, I think it's fine if it's, tuned in and refined accordingly. But yeah, the cross sells and the recommendations, having those really fine tuned are extremely important. Otherwise, they're going to be a detriment to your brand and you lose credibility.
Agree, agree, 100% agree, Shannon. This is great, guys. I got to learn at least 50 new pointers on how to optimize PDP today. Now, quickly, in background, my team would do the scoring. Till then, guys, I can see there are a lot of chats already for us. So, yeah, so just, Shannon and Tara, I'll see if there is anything relevant for you guys. And uh, okay, so I think there are a lot of thanks and gratitude. I think, yeah. So I don't think there are much of, okay, so there is one question I see from Connor. Um, Okay, so I think one question was on the current PDP, which I don't know, which we had that open at that time. But what is your opinion on having small thumbnails rather than a long scrollable list of full-sized photos? I think this is for that innerwear brand. So, any one of you can answer this. What do you think on this?
Feel like it totally depends on the layout of the rest of the page. I think do what's best for mobile and test into it. I could argue cases for both, and I've worked at brands where one option has worked well for this brand and worked differently completely for another. So I think it's about what the thumbnails represent, how important the images are to the shopping and purchase decision. I think for apparel, you want to see all the different views, you want to see the design features before something like a supplement where you're just buying a vitamin. You need to read all the information about the ingredients and all the value props and the reasons to buy. But you can see that on other parts of the page too. So I would just say test it. I don't have necessarily an answer there.
Got it. Got
Yeah,
it.
I agree with that. I think testing your way through that is definitely the way to go. I've seen mixed results depending on the brand.
Got it. Got it. A/B test, guys. A/B test. That's the way to go. Next question from Alex. I can also see Alex here. Hey, Alex. How does everyone feel about external review integration on PDPs versus reviews from the platform? Example, Google reviews, Trustpilot.
I think it largely depends on the type of brand, but I think consistency is important. You know, you should have a pulse on reviews that are coming in on multiple different forums, right? And you should, you know, be ensuring that you're responding to those reviews. Um, so I think it largely again depends on the brand. For example, a service brand, you may more likely go to Google or to Trustpilot or something like that, you know, something that's service oriented versus a product specific brand. You're going to go to their PDPs, you're going to go to Amazon, you're going to review, kind of look for reviews specific to products.
That's a great point. Yeah. I think the less brand awareness you have too, the more some of that stuff can help bolster trust and confidence in the purchase too. So I think smaller brands getting into the market, leveraging anything you can to help with that conversion touch point would be helpful.
Got it. I see a couple of more questions here, but guys, we can take that offline on Slack. I'll gather all of these questions from chat, put it on Slack, and Shannon and Tara are already part of our Slack channel. They can respond, you can tag them, get their insights. But super amazing session. We have our scores ready as well. So quickly, let me announce it. So, what do you guys think? Like, like, which one do you think was the best PDP? Would love to hear from audience. Or top two.
I think just to chime in, I mean, in a summary, I think there were some really great things across all of the PDPs. So nice job to all the different brands. I think you guys are clearly onto something. And you know what? You submitted your PDPs because you want feedback. And I think that's also equally important heading into Black Friday, Cyber Week. I mean, now's the best time, right? You've probably got a little bit of time before code freeze to get a few kind of last changes in. So I would just say that. I would just chime in and say that.
Amazing. So now we have scores. Let me share my screen. Scores are so close that I feel all four are winners. Melissa says my vote is for Hatchpan. Great. So let me share my screen and showcase. Oh, okay. So first one, sorry. Yeah. So we have scores over here. So in total, if you see, these are very close. Nadam got 81, Bet Threats 79, and then Heartspan and Flower got very, very close, 67 and 64. So for us, all four are winner. But from if we go by score, then it's Nadam. And here we go. We have a certification as well. So I'll just quickly, share it on my screen, or you guys can already see it, so that's great. So yeah, sorry guys. So yeah, it's certificate of achievement. It's to Haley White from Naden. Haley White, are you there with us on the call?
Yeah. Hi.
Amazing. You are the first champion of Clash of PDP season 1, and it's going to be a memorable time because we are going to have such more session. It's never going to stop. And amazing, amazing. Thank you for participating, Haley.
Thank you.
Amazing. And what you get is, a couple of perks. So we have Mid-90s founder as well here. So these are the few perks that you're gonna get. You'll get a certification emailed to your inbox. You can share it on LinkedIn, wherever you like. You'll also get a Mid-90s reward voucher and premium access of few AI tools which are used for PDP optimization. These are our partners through our RLOE community. So we'll send everything to you on your email. But congratulations, Ailey, and congratulations to each one of you who participated.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, and loved it. Do spread word about our community RLOE. And last one thing, guys, we are also launching a course just for this community to learn a little bit more about the AI agents that are coming dedicatedly for e-commerce. How do you optimize your PDPs using those AI agents? How do you make customer experience better using those AI agents? We'll be launching that by October 10th, so stay tuned. You'll get all updates on Slack. I just wanted to get a quick glimpse out. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Shannon and Tara, for participating and helping us out today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
All
much.
right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.